Okay, I'm gonna slow down for this one. I am at a point in the season where I'm trying to decide if I want to keep pushing high nitrogen and gamble, or if I want to take the safe bet and drop my nitrogen off and push, K, potash, start getting these guys to lignify and harden up for the winter time, because that takes a month. So here, that's St. Louis unknown. None of these. I think it's Chicago Hardy. None of those are ripening yet, but I got my 4. They're about a foot long each, so they're ready for next year. They don't need to grow anymore. They're ready. Done. Chicago Hardy cutting, over 2 feet tall. Over 2 feet tall. It's been trying to put some figs on, but I'm snapping them off. So this will be a fun one for next year, just producer. Crazy how the cutting just crushed growing relative to the older tree. Here's another Chicago Hardy cutting, and he's about 1.5 foot, 3 branches. So it's growing well too. Then you come over here and look at the plant it came from. This is where it was air layered down here. And you look at this tree, same treatments, same nitrogen treatments, etc. And I could say that with confidence because of my drip irrigation system. Bigger pot, 2 drips, that's it. And also faster flow rate. So on here you can see on this Chicago Hardy, I've let all of the figs go since it's a more mature tree, and we've got 2 figs over here and 1 fig up there. That's what we got going on. And this guy's been bagged. He just fell off. So I'm gonna go pop it in the fridge, give it a try later. Literally just fell off when I was checking it out. So the point is relatively speaking, you look here, we've got maybe 3 inches of growth, 3 inches of growth, 3 inches of growth. But I'll take that as a good thing, because that means that tree is matured and the hormones are balancing out, so it's not just cranking out growth. So maybe next year it's going to be really ready for pushing down some fruit. So that's the Chicago Hardy situation. Cavaliere, I love how they've got the tie-dye. I left 3 of them on here. Maybe that was a little much, but you can see, since I've been pushing that 200 ppm nitrogen game, I've got 3 scaffolds going after the pinch. So that's going to be in great shape for next year too. Del San Jomi Gran. Boom. Keiki Paste. Check it out. It's huge in the orchid community. Look at that. Undeniable. And then here's 2. So this thing was sleeping, and now I've got 1, 2 buds starting to push, and this is the one that I'm kind of curious on. Well, I don't know. Do I keep it growing with high nitrogen, or do I cut it off so it can be successful in the wintertime? I don't know yet. Violette de Bordeaux champion. I've got my 2, got my Y, and I've also got the branches here going. So he's ready to be cut off from the nitrogen, because he'll be ready for next year too. See, 2 over here too. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, arguably 5, 6, 7. And because of how big this pot is, it'll do fine with those 7 and getting some branches off of there. So I'm good with it. Celeste, I checked the roots out on this one. The roots are only here-ish, not even filling it out yet. So it's taking its time, but it was a smaller branch, so it makes sense. Celeste. Here's the Celeste mama tree, and it's, I don't know. I mean, we've got 6 inches of growth here, some here and here. Got to figure out the pruning game for this in winter time, so I'm gonna even talk about it more. Here's another Celeste cutting. Same rooting situation. Definitely needs time. Nowhere near full. Hasn't filled out that tree pot it's in. You can see here, it's a tree pot, but I insulated it. I insulated it with bark into a bigger pot it's going to eventually be in, because that sun, it like cooks that soil. We talked about that before. Here I got the Col de Dame Mutante. You can see that one fig I'm leaving on. That long neck, clearly a Col de Dame. I'm waiting for some stripes to show up and to get that validation. Yep, it's a Mutante. Not that I doubt where it came from, but just personal learning. Got a lot going on up here as far as growth goes. But man, I wish that would push out some before I cut the nitrogen off. See, there's 2 trees that are arguing for a case to keep the nitrogen pumping. Olympian, you know, Olympian's as far as Olympian's gonna get this year, I think. It's got a nice foot long piece here, and I think that I'll air layer this off so I can have a single whip and not have to worry about boring stunted growth. Boring stunted growth. So I think that's the theme this year, is that the boring, you know, like here with the Celeste, you know, I was able to get it covered before the boring happened. I think that's definitely something, if you're ever buying cuttings, you know, make sure you get that that covered quickly, because I have boring insects around here, and I worry about that, because obviously it's a problem for me. Smith, another one I would love to get some more growth time in. You can see it's finally starting to bud out, pushing that 200 ppm nitrogen game, and I removed a lot of figs. Let these here as decoys. I'm hoping the squirrels try them out and they're like, yuck, I don't want anything to do with that tree, but we'll see how that goes. Probably removed like 24 plus figs at various stages. Black Celeste, really love this tree. This morning, I applied Keiki Paste to it. You see where the sap is still, you know, you gotta cut it, then wipe the sap away so that the hormones can get in the plant. So the hormones can get into the plant above the node. And then, you know, it's time to start putting out growth here. Same thing here. Oh, it's time to start putting out growth here. Then I even tried one up at the top to see what it would do. So the Keiki Paste has been applied. If anyone wants me to, I'm happy to do a video on that one day, but I'm not gonna put the effort into it. Nobody's gonna care to watch it. And just focus on my log here. Green Michurinska. So I left 3 figs on this guy. Might have been a little much, but again, another case for continuing the growth, continuing the 200 ppm nitrogen game, because it wants that growth. And if I can get this one out a little bit more, come here. If I can get this one out a little bit more, it'll be really set up for next year. She's a good girl. She's a good girl. Then you know, we already talked about Chicago Hardy. So that's where everything's at. Oh, go take a peek at the cuttings. Here's my cuttings. I didn't label them. I'm really not caring to. Chicago Hardy, nothing really going on, you know, but it's not dying. So it's not dying, that must mean it's doing fine. Here, another Chicago Hardy. You know, again, I just cut these off. And you can see there's some growth happening there. I just cut these off. Low effort, low time demand. You know, really enjoying this versus it becoming some kind of labor of love. Because, I mean, a labor of love is still labor. And I want to make sure I'm enjoying this and not pushing myself to do all these things. So here, this is the White Madeira #1. I'd be really excited if this thing takes off. It's not, again, it's not dying. So that's a positive sign. Then over here, this is from the Celeste. And then these guys are Hardy Chicagos. So, you know, I'm just not sweating these ones. I got my plants well labeled over here. And as far as the cuttings go, you know, it's just fun. It's fun. Can't stress out over these. hobbies, or else you just don't enjoy them anymore. So cut them, dipped them in rooting hormone, and dropped them in the dirt. Okay, so I don't know if anybody else is thinking about how they're changing up their fertilizer game, or if anybody plays the fertilizer game as hard or thinks about it as much as I do, but love to hear what anybody else is doing as they look to maximize their growth season so their trees can grow and mature as much as possible, especially these first year trees, before you cut the nitrogen off and up the potassium so that they can harden off in time to go dormant in time to get shoved into the garage. So happy figging.